Malaysia.
Hi, my name is Nur Farizati.
Hi, my name is Nur Shakira Abdullah.
My name is Nur Shadriana binti Muhaimin.
Hi, my name is Nur Fatimah Azaman, and now we are here at Royal Malaysian Customs, and we are going to explain about digital tax. What is digital tax? Digital tax is a service tax that will be charged to foreign tech companies that provide important online services, inclusive of software, music, video, or any digital advertising. For example, like Spotify and YouTube and Google Store and App Store. This company will be required to register to Royal Malaysian Customs, and then they will charge the tax towards the consumer.
Countries around the world have adopted different approaches in taxing the digital economy. It could be in the form of tax at revenue level, withholding tax, equalization levy, and GST or VAT. For countries around the Southeast Asia region, for example like Singapore and Thailand, they have adopted the approach of VAT and GST to tax the digital economy. For Malaysia, the government has proposed that to widen the service tax net to cover digital services rendered by the foreign players, which I think is a positive move in taxing the digital economy. With this proposal, it will put the domestic player and the foreign player on the same level playing field. That is because presently, if you purchase from overseas, it could be cheaper compared to purchase locally, given that the local player might be charging service tax on their services. However, this tax is still not taxing the right person, given that service tax is actually ultimately bear by the consumer. However, I hope that with this proposal, it will actually encourage the local player or the local consumer to purchase more from the local supplier to a certain extent. From an administrative perspective, it is important that clear guidelines is available, and it should be business friendly and not creating too much of burden to the foreign players in registering themselves for the service tax purposes. In short, clarity and certainty in terms of the scope of tax and administrative procedures are important to ensure that the intended objective of this proposal will be achieved.
Question might arise, why Malaysia taking these steps to implementing digital service tax, and what is the benefit by implementing this digital service tax? So the first one is, the purpose of the government introducing digital service tax is to balance the competitions between retailer and online retailer, especially online based owned by foreign companies. Lastly, the benefit by imposing the digital service tax is to help increase the economic growth in our country. So as we all may know, the taxes is one of the biggest revenue in our country. So it will help to generate more revenue to increase the developments of the country. So, other than that, the introductions of digital service tax is an attempt by the government to widen the tax base in Malaysia. So the collections can be substantial amount if all digital players register in Malaysia. So the fixed rate of 6% per year with annual threshold of 500,000. So the amount or the tax rate being imposed in Malaysia is lower compared to other countries such as New Zealand, where its rate amounts 15%, Russia 18%, and Norway 25%.
In order to ensure the foreign business are registered to tax in Malaysia, it's stated under the Provision Services Tax Act 2019 under the Section 56 Clause B of the liability to be registered. The Minister may be described the total value of digital service tax of the purpose of registration of foreign service provider under this part. Foreign company does not register their business to pay tax in Malaysia. the minister has power to get them to be registered to pay tax, meaning that the minister has power to get them into the system to pay tax in Malaysia. In order to facilitate the enforcement digital service tax in Malaysia, the business can help through the Organization from Economic Cooperation and Development, stand for OECD. It is an international organization that consists of 36 members countries, which Malaysia is part of members. Through this organization, it is provide a unit forum and acknowledge hub from data and analysis exchange of experience, best practice sharing and advice on public policies in global standard setting. Therefore, through this organization, Malaysia can share the information about digital services tax in Malaysia with other member countries to ensure understanding foreign countries.
Here are some examples of applications that will be affected and not be affected by the digital service tax. According to Statistics Department survey on Malaysia e-commerce income in 2015, a tax rate of 6% can potentially yield about 2.4 billion ringgit record in digital service tax.
There have several issues or challenges that the government might face when the government introducing this digital service tax in coming next year. Therefore, the government should have take action towards this issue. The tax authority must ensure the compliance of the business entity in order for them to pay the tax. From this, the authority need to have a good enforcement of the tax towards the foreigners provider. Apart from that, the government also ensure the business are registered to pay the tax in Malaysia. Moreover, the tax authority also always monitor the data and the transactions of the business provider, whether the business provider has paid the tax in Malaysia or not. Only that, the government also should provide the clear guideline and business friendly with the foreigners provider. The government should give the guideline and procedure to the foreigners provider to make payments of the tax in Malaysia. The authority also should not creating too much burden to the foreigners business in registering their tax imposings in Malaysia. The governments also should play roles in facilitating the enforcement of the digital tax of Malaysia by telling the other countries regarding to the new tax of Malaysia, for them to ensure the other country is understanding of the digital impost. Moreover, the government also need to educate the people to understand the digital tax in Malaysia. The authority need to inform to the society for the tax imposements in the digital tax in Malaysia. From this, the authority should give the information about the benefits of Malaysia when implementing this digital tax, whereby this tax will give the revenues to the governments of Malaysia. The governments also need to give the interactive information to the society for them to more understand the process and the procedures of the digital tax of Malaysia.
As we talk about the challenges of implementing digital tax in Malaysia, we merely have the effects yet because the implementation takes on 1st January of 2020.
To conclude, digital service tax is the tax that imposed to the foreign provider that provide education system in Malaysia. So this digital service tax will give benefit to increase our revenue in country. Thus, this digital service tax will be efficient in 1st January 2020. Thus, we hope this digital services will be conducted in effective and efficient in upcoming way. Thank you.